Silas Marner by George Eliot. These are a few short discussions regarding key topics in Chapter 3. Describe the social structure of the community. Set in rural Britain, the social structure in Ravua was one that focuses largely and predominantly on social class. The members of the village were categorized and therefore judged based on the social class that they are from, with their own set of values. The quote, aloof from the currents of industrial energy and Puritan earnest, signifies that the village is cut off from the rest of Britain, and followed its own old-fashioned ways. Squire Cass is the closest thing the villagers have to a lord, that is to say, he is considered to be of the highest stature in this community. His family lives a prestigious and wealthy lifestyle, which is an extreme contrast to the humble life lived by Silas Marner, who is at the other lowest extreme of class divisions. George Eliot has juxtaposed and intersected the family of highest class in the village to Marner, the village outcast. This further emphasizes the difference in class in the social structure. What means does Eliot employ to inform us about the various characters? George Eliot uses the general backdrop of the setting to subtly introduce us to the various characters. This is done from the vantage point of innocent villagers' gossip, and a conversational tone is evident. Phrases such as "the neighbor said" and "everybody was saying" proves the notion of village gossip. Another technique used by Eliot is of two narratives that run parallel throughout the story. One follows Silas Marner, whereas the other one trails the Cass family. At some points during the novel, both these narratives cross and each proves to be of significance to the other. Eliot dedicates entire chapters to each narrative, such as Chapter 3, which was focused mainly on the members of the Cass family. Describe each member of the Cass family. In particular, what weakness does Godfrey display? Squire Cass was, to quote exactly, the greatest man in Ravua, as he owned an estate and had a tenant or two, which was one up compared to the Osgood family. He was a man of high social standing. People respected and looked up to him. His two sons, Dunstan and Godfrey, were expected to follow in his footsteps and uphold the family name. Dunstan, also known as Dunsey Cass, is described as a spiteful, jeering fellow. His gambling habits indicate the negative personality traits of a deceitful liar. His arrogance is evident throughout the conversation with his brother. He is also referred to as diabolical cunning, Eliot's way of hinting at his evil traits. Godfrey Cass. His huge stance creates a false image of emotional and physical strength. False because of Eliot's later description, his natural irresolution and moral cowardice, which signifies his indecisive and weak nature. He seems submissive, especially in the presence of his brother. Godfrey's weakness could possibly be his secret marriage to an opium addict, Molly Farron. Dunsey uses this information to blackmail him. Explain Godfrey's social situation. We could say it is unpredictable at the moment. It depends on the money that needs to be returned to his father, which was received as rent from a tenant. Unfortunately, Godfrey gave the money to Dunsey, who spent the money. Godfrey is the heir to the Cass estate, being the eldest son. The villagers describe him as a fine, open-faced, good-natured young man who was to come into the land someday, which would eventually guarantee his place at the top of the social ladder. However, Godfrey seems to be acting strangely off late, following in the footsteps of his brother, which the villagers deem as a setback. They believe he needs to turn over a new leaf in order to get back on track. He could have a potential relationship with Miss Nancy Lamenter, but his secret marriage holds him back. Done by Tanya Jajal, Yohan Aher, and Navish Khan.